What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another video here on the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. I apologize, this is not my usual recording space, so the lighting may be off and the audio is obviously different because I'm using a different mic. But hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when the live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate you all coming back. Share this out. 5 stars on the Apple Podcasts. Also, check out our Patreon, $2.99 a month. Access to behind-the-scenes stuff. You get a lot of that in mobile when we go down there later this month. But also sports articles. We're doing some articles on there. Appreciate you guys if you guys would go up there and sign up. $2.99 a month. Cheaper than the YouTube memberships. But we do have a short video right now. After I was done actually originally recording my defensive coordinator video, which you guys should see within the week, my brother informed me that the New York Giants have made a hiring at their offensive line coach position. And that is Carmen Bricillo, who many say that he looks like Brian Dable's evil twin. But nonetheless, we got to go through his resume, some of the stuff that went off under him, which, you know, is good mostly. Mid if you want to be real critical about it. But anyway, let's just get into it. So he's 47 years old, came out of Duquesne, started his collegiate coaching career in 2005 with Duquesne as their O-line coach, but 2 years beforehand, Indiana area high school assistant coach. Then after Duquesne, he went over to Akron as a coaching assistant until 2008, then an assistant on the offense with Illinois in 2009, was the offensive line coach for Youngstown State between 2010 and 2018, so that's a really long time. Then he moved up to the NFL with the New England Patriots as a coaching assistant in 2019. 2020 was the co-offensive line coach, took over the full position in 2021 after Dante Scarnecchia left, and then moved over to Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels for the last 2 seasons. And I'm kind of surprised that the Las Vegas Raiders let him walk out like that, because we saw Dwayne Ledford, he got blocked from getting to go to other interviews or any of that stuff. I know that the Giants were blocked by the Falcons. Ejiro Evero was just blocked by the Panthers from going elsewhere, at least until they make a head coaching hiring and all that stuff. But let's get into his actual resume within the 4 years he's been in the NFL. So I have a couple of different metrics to break this down. We'll start off with pass block ranking. We'll start in 2020 with the Patriots. So they were 15th in pass block ranking, and run block ranking, they were 6th in the NFL. You move to the 2021 season, they actually got better in pass blocking. They got worse, one ranking worse in the running game. So they were 7th in run block ranking and 10th in pass block ranking. You move over to 2022 with the Las Vegas Raiders. They were 9th in pass block ranking and 17th in run block ranking. Then those two kind of flipped in 2023, 12th in pass block ranking and 14th in run block ranking. So some notable names before we go further to keep an eye on. Now, I don't think he's produced any Pro Bowlers, but some really good linemen that he's kind of helped the development of. Michael Onwenu is one. Colton Miller, I mean, he really hasn't regressed since getting better at the NFL level, and I guess that's an attribution to Carmen Bricillo. He's made Greg Van Roten a solid guard. He's going to be in free agency. Dylan Parham, solid. But anyway, moving forward, sack rankings, right? 2020, New England was middle of the pack in terms of sacks allowed, 14th most. 2021, they were the 3rd least in sacks allowed. Move over to Las Vegas, 10th least in sacks allowed, and then 13th least this year. So they moved up a little bit in the sack rankings, which isn't good, but it's only by 3 spots. Yards per carry, that's a big one. It seems like it's a flip-flop here, but anyway, moving forward, 19th, 4.3 yards per carry in 2020, 14th in yards per carry in 2021, 4.4. His best was 2022, 4.8 yards per carry with Josh Jacobs and all those other guys. First year in Las Vegas, ranked 7th in the league. And then this year, not a good stat at all, 3.7 yards per carry. That ranked 28th. So there's that. And then also, before we go into the final thoughts, the starting O-lines, the penalties, and sacks. So 2020 starting O-line for the New England Patriots, it was Isaiah Wynn, Joe Thuney, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, Michael Onwenu. Wynn gave up 2 penalties and 3 sacks. Thuney gave up 3 penalties and 2 sacks. Andrews gave up 1 penalty and 2 sacks. Shaq Mason gave up 2 penalties and 3 sacks. And Michael Onwenu gave up a penalty and 3 sacks. You move to 2021, his final year with the New England Patriots. Isaiah Wynn, Ted Karras, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, and Trent Brown were the starters. Apologies if you hear my heater in the background, but Isaiah Wynn, 9 penalties, 6 sacks. Karras, 2 penalties, 3 sacks. Andrews, 4 penalties, 2 sacks. Shaq Mason, 4 penalties, 1 sack. And Trent Brown, 0 penalties, 1 sack. You move to 2022 with the Las Vegas Raiders. Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James, Alex Bars, and Jermaine Alamanor were the offensive linemen. Colton Miller, 5 penalties, 4 sacks. Parham, 5 penalties, 6 sacks. 5 sacks, 6 penalties. James, 3 penalties, 2 sacks. Bars, 3 penalties, 5 sacks. Alamanor, 5 sacks, and 6 sacks allowed. 2023, not much change. Actually, I think other than Bars, it's the same unit. Van Roten substituted for Bars. Colton Miller at left tackle, 1 penalty, 4 sacks. Parham at left guard, 5 penalties, 1 sack. Andre James, 3 penalties, 4 sacks. At center, Van Roten, 0 penalties, 5 sacks at right guard. And at right tackle is Jermaine Alamanor, 5 penalties, 6 sacks at the right tackle position. And then real quickly, some metrics that were brought up on Twitter. Colton Miller, he ranked 12th out of 90 in pass block efficiency. 13 out of 85 of guards. That's where Dylan Parham was. An interior offensive lineman, specifically centers. Andre James was 13th out of 40. Greg Van Roten, 13th out of 85 for guards. And then for tackles, Jermaine Alamanor was 29th out of 90, and they allowed 40 sacks. Again, they ranked middle of the pack in terms of giving those up. And then also, before we get to final thoughts and stuff, Pharaoh NFL, we had on for the Raiders preview. I asked him about Carmen Bricillo, and here is what he said. Solid coach, felt like his power scheme, he wanted to run a power screen, felt like he wanted to run a power scheme, but it really didn't fit the players on the offensive line, especially in the run blocking. Raiders didn't do him a lot of favors by not adding talent, but he got the most out of them. So here are my thoughts. Now, I don't know what the ceiling is for this offensive line, being that the offensive line for the Raiders and the Patriots, based on his resume, never really were top 10, at least in certain rankings. I could be wrong. Maybe the Giants are a top 5, top 10 offensive line in 1 to 2 years. So there's that. To be honest with you, I'm being picky here. I really didn't like that the Giants didn't cast a wide net of offensive line coaches, considering this could make or break Brian Dable's career, because he hired Bobby Johnson and, he didn't work out. And this offensive line has sucked for years. Like, Giants fans have been complaining about the offensive line for so long. And they interviewed Bricillo. Then they went over to Atlanta and they got blocked by them to interview Dwayne Ledford. And that was it. Like, they didn't interview any other O-line coaches. They didn't try to get Mike Munchak, who was a consultant for the Rams. You could have gotten him easy. Again, that's just me being picky, but it just seems like strategically they didn't do this correctly. I could be wrong, though. Again, they did this before, personally. If you look back at how they hired Thomas McGahee for the Dable staff, not the Judge staff or the Shermer staff, but for the Dable staff, how they rehired him, they basically interviewed him midway and then said, do you want the job? I'm not really a fan of that interview strategy, but listen, Bricillo is definitely a better O-line coach. He wants to actually include a fullback, so the Giants might actually invest in some blocking tight ends a little bit more, or a fullback in the draft, or a fullback in free agency. I don't know if Alec Ingold's a free agent. There's a couple other guys. Jacob Johnson was the Raiders fullback, so we'll see where that goes, but just wanted to give my thoughts, his resume, and all that other stuff, and the update for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff, turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out. See you later. Let's go, Big Blue.